Shalom from rappers and rabbis.
Shalom.
This is it's a party tonight. It's a Havdallah. It's supposed to be a service, but it is a party tonight. It is our album release event. I'm so happy. Maybe we can just go around and have everybody real quickly introduce themselves. Maybe we could start with the man below me, a special guest tonight, Spencer in the building. How you doing, man?
What's up? Yeah, I was in the fellowship, the first fellowship. The second one's coming up, right? And I made some beats and wrote some rhymes, and I'm also a teacher. I teach beat making, beatboxing, all that good stuff, and I'm a audio, video, everything kind of dude. So yeah. Anyway, I'm super happy to be here. And this album is super dope, and I hope everyone hears it.
Yeah.
All right, let's swing around to Mr. E. What's good, my guy? How you doing tonight?
Hey, peace, shalom. Happy Hanukkah, everyone. I'm doing well. Just grateful to be here sharing this evening with you all for the album release party tonight. And yeah, man, I'm doing well. So I'm a hip hop artist, MC, spoken word poet, teacher, edutainer, and newly U.S. hip hop cultural ambassador for Team Poland with Next Level USA. But I also full-time I teach visual and performing arts down in Plainfield, New Jersey for the school year. But yeah, man, hip hop and rappers and rabbis, Judaism, where we meet at the intersection. I did going on now a couple years with the crew. So grateful to be here. I'm gonna pass it. I'll pass it to above me, Internal Rhyme.
Hey, what's up, y'all? My name is Internal Rhyme. I'm a hip hop artist. I've been making music for 15 years and been making music with this crew for 2 or 3 years now as well. And I'm located out in LA currently, from the Philly area originally. And I am excited for our new round of fellows. I'll be at the fellowship in January, flying in from Cali to make some dope music with y'all. And I'm excited to be here tonight. Happy Hanukkah to everybody in attendance or watching with us.
Yes, sir. Let's get lit. All right, let's pass it over to the triumvirate right here. Let's pass it over to the triumvirate. We're going to move them to the middle. These are the three founding fathers of the Rappers and Rabbis movement. Guys, we are so blessed to have y'all here tonight. Maybe you could each take a second to introduce yourselves.
Go ahead, Adam.
Hey, everybody. Happy Hanukkah. My name is Rabbi Adam Meir, and I've been with Rappers and Rabbis since its inception. And we're so happy to be here together, celebrating Hanukkah, celebrating our new album of music, sending a little bit more light out into the world to light up all the spaces that need a little bit of light through our music and through our fellowship and through our community. That's what we do here.
Amen.
And I'm Matt Barr, another co-founder of Rappers and Rabbis. And when we started Rappers and Rabbis a couple years ago, it was just us three, and now we got kind of a team of 8. And we have an album, and it's great to look back at how we've kept the grinding together. And it's really a special night tonight to release this album that we've been working on during quarantine, that I think all of us are very proud of, and that I think elevates Jewish prayer with hip hop in a really unique way that I hope everybody gets to check out and appreciate.
And I'm Tech Church Ali Richardson, and I work with Bible Raps, so I'm a part of that movement as well, and a co-founder of Rappers and Rabbis. And just piggybacking off of what Matt said, like just working on this project, even through, it's sort of like the vision happened before the quarantine, and we saw it through the quarantine, and we got to experience and sort of share and even have therapy from this creative process together. So, and the music that came out of it, and the level of collaboration and friendship and just the growth of us, collectively, I think is huge. So I'm appreciative of that. I'm an educator. Let me go back, I know I skipped that part. I'm an educator, I'm a musician, and I'm part of the band and the founding crew here. So yeah, I'm excited about our album project.
Yeah, so we have an album, Rappers and Rabbis Volume 1, online now, everywhere that you stream music. I know it's kind of hard to pick and choose these days, but our music is now available on over 400 platforms, including the big ones, Spotify, Apple Music, YouTube, Tidal, Amazon, Google Play. I mean, wherever you listen to music and watch music videos, you will be able to find us. It is such a blessing for myself as a producer and an artist to go through this process with y'all. I'm so proud of the work that everybody has done. And let's just kick it off. I'm going to play a video that for the people that are maybe tuning in for the first time, this video will hopefully explain a little bit more about who we are and what we do to the tune of our remixed version of Matovu.
May Hashem gift us with the one.
Welcome, my people, please sit where you want, sit where you want, sit where you want. And I on and fat into eyes to the front, eyes to the front, eyes to the front. Your spirit alive, the Shekhinah, she's home. She's home, Shekhinah, she's home. So feel out the vibe to feel it is flow, to feel it is flow, to feel it is flow. Hip hop on our plane, now get ready, let's go. The didgeridoo and the shofar will blow. The rhythm is given, just follow the flow. Community singing my tovu, my toe.
That's right, classic Jewish Shabbat prayers, ancient to contemporary, remixed with hip hop beats and bars. But that's not all.
Sheesh.
And Rappers and Rabbis Beat Knesset, we plumb the depths of hip-hop to elevate our experience, specifically with the concept of the Cypher. As Hip-Hop Rebbe, Purple, explains.
A hip-hop cipher is when the community gathers in a circle-like formation where everyone is participating, no one is spectating. What's happening in the cipher is individuals are demonstrating their most creative and authentic self-expression. That could be beatboxing, it could be dance moves, it could be rapping, both written or improv, which we call freestyle. The cipher is about peace, it's about love, and it's the hip-hop community way.
We offer a professional development opportunity for leaders to work with us and our little prayer book to make sure the cipher pops off at our Hip Hop Shabbat services to never be forgotten. All over your community.
Prepare for prayer. Hebra, come grab a chair. Congregation for community. Mr. Yaakov for mayor.
Shout out to Rappers and Rabbis.
Hip Hop Shabbat was awesome.
I really liked that. I think it was very catchy, especially with the Shema.
It really was honestly a magical experience. Because it felt like heavenly hip-hop vibe.
I loved it. I love the energy. I love the message behind it.
And we're back with some more heavenly hip-hop vibes. Mr. E in the building, the founders of Rappers and Rabbis with us, man. Mr. E, you were featured on that song, and also the footage taken by the one and only Spencer was from one of your events. And as we get later into this program, as we get in deeper into this program, Mr. E, I want you to talk about our upcoming event that we have. So let's just get right into it, though. So the album is 9 songs. It's online now everywhere. That is one of the songs that's featured. And I want to play another song that's featured, but I'm going to kind of skip ahead in the album just a couple tracks because it is Havdallah tonight. And as I was at synagogue earlier for Havdallah service, I was thinking to myself, well, wow, wouldn't it be awesome if they played our version of Havdallah? But a wish is not a dream anymore because we have the album online now. So I kept telling everybody at the synagogue, make sure to go tune in. Like, we have a remix of this song available now. So who knows? Maybe next time I'm at Havdallah service, maybe they will play our version. And along with our version of this Havdallah remix, we have such a creative video. Real quick, Matt and Adam, I don't know if you guys want to talk about the making of this video and what inspired y'all to put this together.
Well, actually, it was Spencer who came through and filmed it, and it was during quarantine, so we wanted to really capture the moment of quarantine, and so then we got the idea of having green screen masks. And so we took the masks because we couldn't really like rap to the camera over our song anymore, and so we just put the green screen mask on, and that allowed us to a new kind of space to kind of play with over our face, and that kind of directed basically the concept of the video is just us doing Havdallah and rap and a music video, except during quarantine time, and our mask is a green screen. So yeah, shout out to Spencer for coming through and setting up the lights and shooting this video.
Thanks.
And you'll see the video. Oh, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say it was a cool experience. And you know, I was invited into Adam's home and got to meet his family, and we created like just a really cool piece of art in there. And yeah, and it was kind of like a service as well at the same time, as a creative process. So that's what Rappers and Rabbis is about.
That's right. That's right. It is. It's the service of coming together. And Havdallah specifically is it's a time to celebrate a transition from a holy moment of Shabbat and how to take that special energy of holy restorative rest and bring that into our working week. And that's done kind of through our pieces of the wine and the spices and the candle, which is the main elements of the Havdallah, which you'll see in the video.
And if you're a song leader and you're out there, come to join our fellowship. And you probably heard this Debbie Friedman version of Havdallah and probably can play it. But now you can actually memorize these bars and really blow your congregation away or your camp away. So that's why we suggest song leaders come to join our fellowship, because they can elevate their prayer service with these bars, like on this track right here.
Amen. All right, let's go. Here's the video for the Havdallah remix.
Hashem, what is Hashem? Smaller than any blossom, bigger than any big bang. It's awesome. Before Shabbat's done, sip the drops from, where's the wine glass? Here I got one. Tip it off at the tippy top, hold it aloft. Praise to God for Shabbat.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafen, borei peri hagafen.
Hashem, what is Hashem? Are we all one, or perhaps some? How to know which problem is really worth solving? And are we all in? Are we half-stepping? Let's get past questions, settle nerves, spiced herbs and nice words. We're just bond and we're a band, just observe.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, borei minei besamim, borei minei besamim.
Hashem, what is Hashem? Smaller than any blossom, bigger than any Big Bang. It's awesome before Shabbat's done. Put your fingers in the light until the light revolves them. A moment of solemn. Now it's time to get the job done.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, borei meorei ha'esh, borei meorei
I say it every time we play that video. I absolutely love the imagery of the cup of wine overflowing. And from us to everyone tuned in, may your cup runneth over with blessings throughout this holiday season. Chag Sameach, happy Hanukkah to everybody. Shout out to everyone
Amen.
that's tuned in right now. Yeah, amen. So real quick, maybe before we really, now the job's done, right? Havdallah is settled. You know what I mean? That's it. Now we're in the full album release mode. And, for Matt and Rabbi, maybe y'all could talk a little bit about, obviously the first song is Ma Tovu, which we already played. And we already know the importance of that song is about bringing people together. But maybe before we play the second song, you can talk about the importance of Yedid Nefesh and why y'all chose to have that song second on the album.
Sure. So this is set up kind of. Yedid Nefesh is sung when welcoming in the Shabbat traditionally, as well as when on the way out. But the setup was kind of the album is the service. I mean, it is music, of course. It's good music, but it's more than just music. It's the whole thing is kind of built as a service. So we ordered the list of the songs to kind of lead people along the service, and this is the song that invites us into Shabbat and awakens all of our longings for perfection and for kind of just being calm and being present, and kind of getting the excitement and the anticipation of what it's going to mean to be able to step into holy rest of Shabbat. And the imagery that's used there is the imagery of two lovers kind of knowing that they're about to meet, kind of on the way to meet. So that's kind of the theme of the words behind the song.
I think, another thing about joining the fellowship is you get to work with other hip hop artists who are really excellent, and working with them both together, collaborating and seeing how people's artistic process and kind of learning from them is something really advantageous in working with our fellowship. And so this 16 by Papa Left, I think, is the most gorgeous 16 about preparation for Shabbat. And, he was one of the fellows from last year. And when he actually reached out he's like, I want to join the retreat. And I already knew him as a rapper, so I was like, are you sure? Like, bro, like, are you sure? But he came, and then Mr. E was at the same one. And it's like, suddenly after that retreat, there was like, levels of
elevation
of rap, quality that made me re-envision what rappers and rabbis could be. Where there's a lot of ill MCs that like getting together, explore their Judaism, and then write bars about it. And so this 16, when I hear this, I think it's just a beautiful 16 about Shabbat, and it was a great one to be second, because you've already heard me rap, you've heard E rap, and now you can hear Lefty rap, and so it seemed like appropriate to put second. And I think it almost takes it up a notch. You're like, oh, this is pretty good. This is better than I expected. And then you want to do better than what it was for the second one. The second one, you want to be like, that's better than what it was. And what it was better than I expected. So you're like, that's how you sell them.
Nice.
And Mr. E, I don't know if you're still there. I don't know if you have anything, if you want to jump in and talk about your verse really quick and what this song means to you. You're muted, E. You're muted, E.
Oh yeah, thank you. So on Yadid Nefesh, I wouldn't say it was a full verse. It's more of like a bridge, which I really like. It's relaxation, restoration, respiration into elation. For 6 days been waiting patient for the sacred Sabbath day sacred, for the 7th Sabbath day sacred. So there's a lot of alliteration in there, but speaking about what the process is, it's a time for rest, restoration, respiration, and then into elation, like Rabbi Adam was speaking about, that anticipation of that long work week. And now we have the Shabbat, we have the weekend, and it's time to, heal thyself and purify yourself. So and it was fun, and Lefty did his thing on it, and everyone else on the track. So I can't wait to listen to it again.
Amen. And then here we go. We're also going to, while playing this, we'll have the image of the album cover on the screen. And after this song, we'll talk about the making of the album cover artistically as well.
Beloved, would you stay a minute? Every day I'm running just to pay for something. When you pay a visit, Papa stunt to hustle. Put the money down, there's only one above you. So I set the table by the candlelight, cover up the bread and pour the wine. I'm a turning face before that door could whine. Cause when you stepping in, you make the floor divine. But you more than mine, this ain't no court and diner for the time. Just to sport a wife, you the core of life. When the war inside, wanna warp the mind. You my tour guide, searching for advice in a horde of lies. I'ma organize, I'ma call my guys, hit up all the tribes. We gon' form a line, she gon' walk in. You can feel the vibes like na na na.
Restoration, respiration into elation. For 6 days been waiting patient for the 7th Sabbath day sacred. Relaxation, restoration, respiration into elation. For 6 days been waiting patient for the 7th Sabbath day sacred.
Beautiful. I mean, that is really amazing. A couple shout outs really quick before we go any further. Definitely shout out to Papa Left, who's not with us tonight, but his spirit is so alive. He's all over this album. He's working on his own album right now that's going to be coming out in January on his birthday. So shout out to Papa Left, who's probably in the studio right now working. Big shout out to Papa Left. Also, Huge shout out to Anat Hochberg, whose vocals are featured all over this album and gives such like a haunting spiritual R&B feel to these hip hop vibes. I mean, it's really amazing what she does. And also, big shout out to Jewish Federation of Greater Metro West New Jersey, with whom none of this would have been possible. We are recipients of an innovation grant that makes all this possible. And really, just thanks to all y'all, everybody in this fellowship, no matter if their contribution on the track is just a bridge or if it's a verse or if it's production. I consider us all equals in this fellowship, and I'm very thankful this holiday season for having all of y'all in my life. And I think that as a Hanukkah gift to the world, giving everybody this album is one of the best things that we could do as a fellowship. I think it's pretty amazing. So before we go any further with the album, for the guys in the middle right here, the triumvirate, maybe you guys could talk about the making of the album cover itself and how that came to be.
Okay. Well, we spoke about it for a second. We thought about that question, and or we just remembered too, as well. Is that early on, like when you heard the first track, Ma Tovu, when you hear the introduction, it's in my voice. It says, "May Hashem gift us with the womp," and the womp was something that came from a creative session with the three of us actually making music together. Like we were discussing the creation of Ma Tovu, and I pulled out a bass drum. I call it the mother drum. A drum. It's a drum made in South Africa, and a barrel drum. So like we came up with a rhythm on that and thought to bring in the didgeridoo, but that particular drum, actually, the picture itself is a picture of my arm with Rabbi Adam's arm, hand in hand, wrapped in tefillin, excuse me, right? And it's over the drum that we made Ma Tovu with when we started coming up with the sort of rhythm and concept for it.
Right. The white circle of the Rappers and Rabbis album cover is the drum.
It's the drum. Like we staged it on the drum, and Matt took the pictures.
Word. So yeah, the album cover
came from one of the early sessions of our music making, and this whole like process.
I basically came to Rabbi Adam and Ali and said, "Here's the concept for Ma Tovu. I have the." Ali kind of worked out the percussion and the instrumentals, and then when we talked about what we're looking for, Ali was like, "So basically, you want the womp," and it's like, "Yeah, oh yeah, we want the womp." And so then we thought it was funny. So that's why the blessing is, "May Hashem bless us with the womp," and the womp, I think, is connected to spirituality, but also to some kind of what Ali brings to the track, and that is this tremendous creativity with percussion and with this bass drum that Adam and his hands are on this picture. So it's a combination of kind of like to the motherland, back to the roots that Ali brings to Rappers and Rabbis and shares with us, and kind of we become a part of. And then so the combination of that with the tefillin, that me and Adam have shared with Ali, but over the years they still melting together to where Ali is talking about Jewish stuff, or we're talking about Black thought, and by the end of this, it's kind of all these different parts make a collective or a oneness.
We found oneness within the whole experience.
Yeah, and on the hip hop side of things, it makes what we always talk about is the Cypher, the circle, of the WAMP, kind of representing the inclusion. That's our main thing in Rappers and Rabbis, is that everybody's included, whether it's musically, artistically, spiritually. Everyone is respected and included in a hip hop cipher. So to me, I think this represents inclusion, but also it's exclusive. I mean, we really made an album of high level hip hop and Judaism inspired vibes. So it's like, exclusive. It's only 9 tracks. So it's kind of exclusive, but it's inclusive and acceptable to everybody. And we've been getting great feedback. I don't know about y'all, but the last couple days since it's been online, and we're just getting nothing but positive
Yeah,
feedback.
it's fun. It's fun.
It's been really
Also,
amazing.
even the way Ali and Adam's fists are grasped there is a spiral out like a cipher. You know,
Right, and that comes from.
And there's an inspiration behind that part too. Like if you there's a specific kind of a handshake that comes out of another 13 moon culture, Mayan culture. So the Hunab Ku handshake is where you have like the sort of spiraling of the hands together like that, and the visual of it is a sort of spiral of the hands together. And it's also like a strong, like it's kind of circular lock for handshakes that we practice. But the cool thing is that it's coming from another 13 moon calendar, another agricultural.
Yeah, a lunar calendar.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's what our fellowship's about, is that we don't expect you to drop your identity at the door and start learning Judaism. It's like wherever you're coming from, bring that, and we just want to like lock in with your total individuality, and that's why it's open to Jews and non-Jews, because it's basically, trying to formulate something, that's bigger than its parts.
Yeah, well, think about it. Like when I first came in as a producer, musician, y'all handed me a book to read that was about vocals, was all about the voice of music and the voice of religion. So it's really all about learning and growing together. That's what Rappers and Rabbis is all about. So please, if you're tuning in now or if you're watching on a post stream, make sure to check us out at rappersandrabbis.com. DM us on social media. The links are below. And we will be gladly able to respond and interact and learn and grow together with everybody that takes the time to reach out to us. The next song on the album is what I consider to be the most important, and that is the Shema. So I don't know if Rabbi, if you want to just real quick maybe give the Shema a little introduction.
Sure. So the Shema is one of the foundational and fundamental prayers. Comes from a verse straight out of the Torah of the Old Testament, from the book of Deuteronomy, and it says, "Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad." Hear, O Israel, listen up. God is one, and it's a proclamation and a declaration of oneness. That it's such a great oneness that it will include everything in the whole world, and so that it even kind of subsumes your whole sense of self into that sense of oneness. So you kind of get rid of your ego, you get rid of your sense of self just for a moment in this meditation, kind of give yourself over, as it were, to the ultimate oneness. And that's when done. So I do that in the morning and the evening. And when I do that, it kind of gives me this sense of, security, like assuredness throughout the rest of my day. Just that, like, I know that I did that every morning, and that kind of sets me out on the right path, kind of with the right mindset for the whole day. So that's
and we do that in hip hop. At most every other hip hop concert, we say, "Put your ones in the air to salute to the one love, peace and love," and that's really a tenet of hip hop and Judaism, is that oneness and the connectedness that we all feel. And without further ado, here is our Shema remix, and the lyrics in this video are provided. So if you want to sing along at home and join in with us, go for it. This is a Cypher. Let's go.
One time for your mind, one time for your mind. One guy from the squad, one guy from the squad, one guy from the squad. One time for your mind, one time for your mind. One guy from the squad, one guy from the squad, one guy from the squad. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad.
breathing what is Holy Spirit like? 1 foot, 1 love, and 1 mic. 1 race, 1 God, and 1 light. 2 hands, 1 left and 1 right. The many and the all involved in 1 fight. When division's the plight is solved and we unite. Cause 1 ain't free if all ain't free. And you are not you if I am not me. Contemplate, elevate with the Elohim. Rappers and rabbis, 1 hell of a team. Building with the Musar, expressing a few bars. Traveling so far to the sound of the shofar.
1 of a kind hanging from the 1 vine. Wild grapes in the shade sometime become fine wine with a little sunshine. It's an hour past noon, can I get a 1 time? 1 time for your mind. 1 time for your mind. 1 God from the squad, 1 God from the squad, 1 God from the squad. 1 time for your mind. 1 time for your mind. 1 God from the squad, 1 God from the squad, 1 God from the squad. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad, Adonai Echad. Not trying to be a prophet, but he who parted the sea is a part of me. When I look in my heart, I see the same history and mystery. I'm G-D'd up, I'ma read up with my feet up. Sabbath is just practice so we all get freed up. Please plant your seeds up, Israel's the bride and the groom's inside. 1 of a kind hanging from the 1 vine. Wild grapes in the shade sometime become fine wine with a little sunshine. It's an hour past noon, can I get a 1 time? 1 time for your mind. 1 time for your mind. 1 God from the squad, 1 God from the squad, 1 God from the squad. 1 time for your mind. 1 time for your mind. 1 God from the squad, 1 God from the squad, 1 God from the squad. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad, Adonai Echad.
All right, that is our Shema remix. We got a special guest in the building tonight. What's the dog's name?
This is Cubs.
Yeah.
Cubs Lightning.
Cubs,
Cubs.
man.
Cubs Lightning.
Cubs Lightning. So cute. Oh my goodness.
Cubs Lightning. Ah! Cubs Lightning in the
Oh
building.
yeah,
It's like
Respect.
It's a celebration.
he's a comic book superhero.
So the next couple songs on the album are integral, in my opinion. They are probably 2 of the most percentage-wise songs that we did together in person amidst all the madness of the pandemic. These next 2 songs we got to really link up in the studio together and work on as a team. And the fellowship, as y'all mentioned earlier, was like a great way for us to kind of like keep our sanity going during this whole thing. So I don't know if Mr. E, Internal Rhyme, Spencer, if you guys want to each maybe chime in and just talk about what the fellowship meant to y'all during this crazy time in life. And you know, I don't know where Rhyme went, if he's still here, but maybe if all 3 of y'all could take turns, maybe Spencer go first and then Mr. E second and then Rhyme, y'all could just kind of talk about what the fellowship meant to y'all.
All right. The fellowship, especially like in the midst of the pandemic, was like I didn't really have that spiritual place outside of myself, like my own mind just being in that space sometimes naturally, I guess. But what I mean is like to have that community at a time when I was in my head a little too much was powerful, and to explore new realms of my own journey. I feel like that was a big part of the fellowship, is like everyone listened to me and learned from me too in this fellowship. We all learned and grew with each other. It wasn't like, oh, we were just listening to Adam talk about the Bible or the Torah and everything, and that was beautiful and wonderful, but we all shared and grew and had this wonderful sharing that was so central to not just like Judaism, but rappers and rabbis, and being in that Cypher mode of hip hop and the Cypher mode of Judaism, being exactly what you said before, being that we all listen and create, and no one is judged and everyone is respected. And that was my experience. It was pretty cool.
Amen. All right, Mr. E, you're definitely a strong voice and regional director now of this fellowship. Maybe you could talk about what the experience has been like for you.
Yeah, I mean, this experience has been everything for me. I think Spencer made a lot of great points. I want to definitely just everything in which he said, I fully agree with and have those same sentiments. For me, during the time of the pandemic, where many of us had, we're quarantining and whatnot, we remained to consistently meet with each other on Zoom and check in with one another on creative levels, spiritual levels, emotional, rational. We were just going through it. We're all creatives. Most of us here are educators as well. So I feel like iron sharpens iron. And, there's so many different talented and just great, beyond just artists, just great people in our fellowship. And I feel like we were able to strengthen bonds, make, actual friendships, and also make just incredible music along the way. As Spencer said, I was able to learn a lot of Torah, which is for me, some good wisdom. But beyond that, just, learning, about just in general from, all the attributes that everyone here brings to the table. I mean, I don't want to go person by person, but all of us has our own unique set of skills and traits that makes us, just amazing people. So when you put that all together, whatever it is, the 8 of us, extended, just great things happen. So I'm grateful what we've done, but I'm also excited for what we still have to come. We have a retreat now coming. I want to give a big shout out, of course, to, the Jersey Metro West, grant, but we also just got another grant with Moisha House. And, just kind of thinking how things are coming full circle. I believe it was 2018, if I'm not mistaken. It was around this time. It was a huge snowstorm in Philadelphia, in which I got introduced to the Rappers and Rabbis crew at a Moisha House hip hop educator retreat in Philadelphia, hosted by Matt Barr, and Ali was there, and Adam. I met most of the crew there. Lefty was there, and others. But that was like 3 years ago, and here we are still. We're doing the fellowship, and now I have the opportunity to join with Moisha House and throw a retreat as well. So I'm really excited to be curating that. It's going to be taking place January 7th to 9th in Bushkill, Pennsylvania, which is the Poconos. Oh man, the Airbnb is just incredible. It's a mansion. We got a mansion out there in the Poconos, and we're going to be making music. We're going to be having workshops and classes and all different types of amazing things that Rappers and Rabbis does, and meeting in that intersection of hip hop and Judaism, and just creating art. And so I look forward to extending the family with the fellowship, having some new great voices join us, and grow to our extended family, and just continue to strengthen the bonds of that we've already developed, between the 8 of us. And yeah, I'm just grateful as the regional, New Jersey director, where we truly are building Jewish community in the Jersey area and definitely beyond. So yeah, just grateful.
Yeah, maybe you could stand up really quick, show everybody the rest of your shirt.
Yes, so it says, move it. I'm all about the puns.
Yeah. But yeah, this has definitely meant so much to me. I've always been looking for a way to connect my Judaism to my career in the music business. And I know it's like a joke, like, oh, everybody in the entertainment business is Jewish, but that's not really true. That's really more of a stereotype. And embracing my Judaism has not always been the easiest thing for me to do in this business. And I'm very thankful to have Internal Rhyme in my life. Rhyme and I actually worked on our very first project we worked on as producer and artist was a project about Israel and about Judaism and also its connections to Islam. And it was just like really an amazing way for me to connect my spirituality to my music. And then when Rhyme started working with y'all, he kind of brought it up to me like, oh, you need to come through and connect with this, because this is really an important thing that we have, that we're building. And I've been so blessed, from the beginning of the quarantine all the way through this pandemic. This has just been a great spiritual and positive musical outlet for me as a musician and producer, remixing all these prayers that I've grown up singing and now being able to reimagine them in modern hip hop ways. It's really been just such a blessing, and it's amazing. So with that said, I want to pass it over to Internal Rhyme, who's also featured on this next song, "Oh Say Shalom." So maybe Rhyme, you could talk about what this fellowship has meant for you, and then also introduce the next song.
Yeah, I would definitely be happy to. So, all of these guys definitely summed up a lot of what I love about this fellowship. But again, to just say some of it, it's really given me a sense of community week by week. It's given me like a sense of purpose throughout the pandemic and beyond, which has been really great. Being on specific projects every week, having tasks that we all like divide and conquer, like having verses on each song to lay down each week, like really kept me motivated. I know, like Crate said, it was really an honor to be like working with him in our own musical relationship, and then kind of blend that into like working with Matt and Mr. E and Ali, who I had met through a different job. I was working in the Jewish community, and what this developed into for me has been incredibly special. It's really given me, just a place to like proudly be Jewish every week. Funny enough, I got this tattoo on my arm in Hebrew this year, but I think this kind of was like a monumental thing in my Jewish identity, which, for me, the reason that like I only have one tattoo, and it's this one, and it's purposely in a very, and for me, this year in general has kind of been a time of like really wearing Judaism on my arm in a very proud way. I think this fellowship had a lot to do with that. And yeah, man, just glad to always be kicking it here. So anyway, I'll transition that into our next song, "Oh Say Shalom." So "Oh Say Shalom," definitely a very special one to me, and I think the fellowship as a whole. It's always been one of the more popular prayers that I've actually known out of the ones that we've turned into bars. Aside from that, I like to talk about "Oh Say Shalom" is applicable week by week to every bit of strife that's going on in the world, right? So I guess this week what's coming to mind is, there's like that really ugly story in the air about the school shooting in Michigan, and a student whose parents had supplied him the weapon, and there was like messaging back and forth prior to the shooting, and it, I believe a football player had basically risked his life and died, trying to stop this person. It was really ugly, I'll admit. My girlfriend brought this up to me yesterday, and she said, did you hear about the school shooting in Michigan? And literally my reaction was very cold-heartedly like, which one? There's a school shooting every day. And that's true, and that's why I'm so desensitized to it. But also, I think it's important not to lose light that, these are children in the middle of a pandemic that go to school in whether in this neighborhood in Michigan or like, many neighborhoods across the United States that aren't publicized as much, that, weapons are being brought into schools, and it's terrible. Being said, as we go into this song, "Oh Say Shalom," about peace, I encourage you to just like find that human place in your heart of remembering that I don't know, that life is precious, and it's a terrible thing to see it be lost in this way. But with that being said, I hope we can channel some positive, peaceful energy into this next track. And thanks for rocking with us through this one.
And I'm going to have the lyrics up, so anyone who's tuned in and wants to sing along, let's go.
Oh, say Shalom Bimroma. Booyah, say Shalom Aleinu. Le'al Kol Yisrael. Bimru, Bimru, Amen. Oh, say Shalom Bimroma. Booyah, say Shalom Aleinu. Le'al Kol Yisrael. Bimru, Bimru, Amen.
Y'all say shalom. 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 Y'all say shalom.
Y'all say shalom, I play Capone. Actually, I'm Maya. Who passing me the lighter? We bout to take you higher. You waiting on Messiah. They hit you with the hezzy. Get on your Hezekiah. Till heaven is your climbing. The devil wants attention. I dead him off with silence. Though violence is cathartic, remember your assignment. Recorded on papyrus. They cannot ignore it, not even in the slightest. Talking about a blockchain, these tokens came from Titus. Before there was a pilot, we was flying on Osiris. Try us.
Sharp swords to pruning force, then pruning force to tuning chords. A higher type of harmony when we know we ain't harming we. Sharp swords to pruning force, then pruning force to tuning chords. A higher type of harmony when we know we ain't harming we. Say Shalom Bimroma. Booyah, say Shalom Aleinu. Le'al Kol Yisrael. Bimru, Bimru, Amen. Oh, say Shalom Bimroma. Booyah, say Shalom Aleinu. Le'al Kol Yisrael. Bimru, Bimru, Amen.
Y'all say shalom. 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 Y'all say shalom.
One day we'll peace out, go fishing with Trump and Hillary Clinton. Eye to eye, fist to fist, no fist cuffs, only fist bumps. We need to talk it out. Alphabet text, introduce yourself. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, hi, H, I.
One day we could just listen to what the artist has written. Smidgens the hardest renditions of where the pain lies. One day we'll embrace differences, cause that type of division feels like it ended, but really it's just a gray sky. And it hardly ever rains on the west side, but I'm rocking with the gang out of best time. Trying to unify, strive to the next time. Gotta get by with a head high and set the example. I know the fight that's a hand is a handful. Let's settle down, get around. With my brother MC and we don't mean no Rambo. Hip hop is a sample of the feeling of peace it projects from the core. Let us dismantle the systems that keep us attached to the floor. Ain't back in the war. I throw two fingers up to the Shemesh. Stick to my moral ground, that's how I stay sound without no regrets. I got the best love and I'm spreading it far as it gets. And I tell you to bless up, cause reality hard as a desk. So when I'm starting to fret, gotta let anxiety get away. Cause I know larger the stress, the larger the bet, there's gotta be better days. Oh say
Shalom Bimroma. Booyah, say Shalom Aleinu. Le'al Kol Yisrael. Bimru, Bimru, Amen. Oh, say Shalom Bimroma. Booyah, say Shalom Aleinu. Le'al Kol Yisrael. Bimru, Bimru, Amen.
Y'all say shalom. 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 Y'all say shalom.
See, I got to give a special rest in peace to my brother Van Gogh Beats, who was a victim of gun violence this past week. Van Gogh, myself, and a few other producers were part of a group called the Piano Gang. And the whole point of our collective of producers was at the time, about 10 years ago, when we all linked up, there was a lot of synthesizers and fake sounds going on in hip hop. And we made a pact as the Piano Gang that we were all going to use pianos as a present instrument in most of the bulk of our productions. And that song right there is just a perfect example of what I learned from my brother Van Gogh. Rest in peace. He talked about crates, man. You play the piano, make sure to play that piano. You know what I mean? Like, put the synthesizers down, pick the piano up. And, you know, that song is really, the past couple days, helped me to find the inner peace that I was looking for, as Internal Rhyme mentioned. It's definitely a prayer that we want to give out to the whole world as our Hanukkah gift to the world, of really just a sense of peace, whether it's inner peace or world peace. That's what we preach from hip hop and Judaism to the world, is peace. Peace and love and understanding, most importantly. This next song, as we keep going on our album, I feel like this next song, Matt Barr, man, I feel like this song is like your baby coming up next, man. Shekinah Pulls Up. This is really an incredible tale of how a song came together. If you go to either my YouTube page or the Rappers and Rabbis YouTube page or Instagram, I have a beat breakdown video where I talk about, more of the technical production side. But Matt, please, before we get into Shekinah Pulls Up, please give this song a proper intro. Talk about the inspiration behind linking up with Rabbi Josh and making the song, and really kind of, from your perspective, what this song means to you, to the world, and to hip hop and Judaism. You're muted, Matt. Sorry.
Yeah, Rabbi Josh Warshawski is a singer-songwriter in the Jewish world, and he has this beautiful nigunim, which is a wordless melody, and in a song called Hamira. And so I was listening to it, and what I love about hip hop is that you can snatch the best parts of other people's songs and make it just the seed of a new song. And that's what I did with Ali, and we put together a beat, with this humming melody part. And then actually, the first time I think you hung out with me, and it was Crates was there, or Rhyme was there, and a whole like 10 of us. We were up there at Ali's studio, and we came up with the majority of this song, the bars there. And I knew coming out of that session, that basically led to this song and the lyrics of the song, I knew like all we got to do is just find more opportunities for us to just get together and learn and marinate and remix, because boy did we quickly take this little idea of a song, this beautiful wordless melody, the humming part, the that Rabbi Josh Warshawski did, and made a whole hip-hop track with it in one night. And it was exciting, it was fun, and we all knew that like we were creating something special. And so from there, I showed it to Rabbi Josh Warshawski and asked him if we could have the stems of his version of this song, and so Crates could remix it and just make it extra special and incorporate kind of their little song into the remix of this song. And that's what Crates did. And then we spit the lyrics that we'd written that night over it, and that's what you're about to hear. And the Shekinah is another word for God, and it's kind of used when you feel like the presence of God, or you're feeling, elevated, when you're feeling comforted by something bigger than yourself. And that's what that night was all about. It was like we were all feeling elevated. We're all feeling like we're doing something. We're part of something special and holy. And it comes out, I think, in this song real well about the Shekinah pulling up. Like basically when you're in a situation and there's a sense of holiness, and that's when the Shekinah pulls up.
Yeah, I always think about that moment in Lecha Dodi, when the congregation rises during the service and then faces the entrance of the synagogue to welcome the Sabbath bride. And I feel like this song's like a hip hop version of that feeling that you bring. You know what I mean? You're not just feeling Shekinah, the Sabbath bride. You're feeling just the spirit of holiness entering your life. And it's so beautiful. And another funny story about this track is when we talked about doing the remix, we were talking about kind of going left with it. We talked about doing like an electronic EDM remix of the hip hop version. And then I something about the spirit wouldn't let me go in that direction. The spirit said, no, we have to go all the way hip hop with this. We have to really take it to the hip hop mecca. So shout out to Ali for his contributions on this track. Shout out to Rabbi Josh. Shout out to Anat Hochberg again on the background vocals. Matt on the hook. Mr. E, Internal Rhyme. I mean, we really have a banger here on our hands. And again, I will be playing the lyrics in the background of this video, so anyone who wants to sing or rap along, feel free. Here is Shekinah Pulls Up.
In the name of God, though God has no gender in Judaism, but it's when relating to her as a close and warm presence, even in the most difficult places, even when we were in exile. Lights on the skyway, highway to heaven, boulevard, to the boulevard. Shekinah pulls up, but she pulls so hard. Shekinah pulls up, but she pulls so hard. To the boulevard. Rides on the skyway, highway to heaven, boulevard. Peaceful, how I feel, feeling free. God, I need a place to escape my mind days. This rhyme takes me back to the spot where words drop like stars on horizons. Orion rides on the skyway, highway to heaven, boulevard. To the boulevard, to the boulevard. Shekinah pulls up and she pulls so hard. Shekinah pulls up and she pulls so hard. To the boulevard, to the boulevard. Rides on the skyway, highway to heaven, boulevard. Shekinah pulls up and she pulls so hard. Shekinah pulls up and she pulls so hard. To the boulevard, to the boulevard. Rides on the skyway, highway to heaven, boulevard. To the boulevard, to the boulevard. Shekinah pulls up and she pulls so hard. Shekinah pulls up and she pulls so hard. To the boulevard, to the boulevard. Rides on the skyway, highway to heaven, boulevard.
Living in the light, yeah, we lamping now. Hip hop from the hood to the Hamptons now. Crept through the woods like a camping now. Create fire like a camping ground. Devils got horns like antlers now. Hit a foul ball, but I chased it down. Pray to Hashem and take a bow. Gotta take a risk, cause the chance is now. Hanukkah, Harry took Santa down. Hamida, I be the anthem now. God is the GOAT and he wrote the scripture. See me drop balls at your bar mitzvah. Crowd around, hear the sound. Hands up, hands down. Crowd around, hear the sound. Hands up, hands down.
Wake up to a new day, smile stay in display. Constantly a question, but I keep my faith. I see a Holy Spirit, evilness of light. Nah, I don't be near it. So the period. 5 mass miracles increase the spiritual. Locate gratitude and put it in here to you. Or the folks most gold in your inner circle. Learn to uphold mode to the winner circle.
Shekinah pulls up and she pulls so hard. Shekinah pulls up and she pulls so hard. To the boulevard, to the boulevard. Rides on the skyway, highway to heaven, boulevard. To the boulevard, to the boulevard. Shekinah pulls up and she pulls so hard. Shekinah pulls up and she pulls so hard. To the boulevard, to the boulevard. Rides on the skyway, highway to heaven, boulevard. And we all want world peace.
And we all want world peace.
But we all want to feast.
But we all want to feast.
So get real with the beast.
Get real with the beast.
Be a wolf for a sheep.
Be a wolf for a sheep.
Once I got too deep,
How'd you find your feet?
grabbed a ladder that's forever stepped on this beat. Rides on the skyway, highway to heaven, boulevard. To the boulevard, to the boulevard. Shekinah pulls up and she pulls so hard. Shekinah pulls up and she pulls so hard. To the boulevard, to the boulevard. Rides on the skyway, highway to heaven, boulevard. To the boulevard, to the boulevard. Shekinah pulls up and she pulls so hard. Shekinah pulls up and she pulls so hard. To the boulevard, to the boulevard. Rides on the skyway, highway to heaven, boulevard. How I feel, feeling free. Peaceful. How I feel, feeling free.
Shekinah Pulls Up.
She pulls
Yeah,
so hard.
so the album, as y'all, the album, as y'all could tell, yeah, the album, as y'all could tell, is really full of anthems, mostly that are based around peace and love, and that is the hip hop way. That is the way of the Torah, and that is kind of the way of rappers and rabbis: is peace, love, understanding, growing and learning. And as y'all talked about when we were discussing the fellowship, we really did learn a lot over the last couple of years. During pandemic, we continued to meet on Zoom and here on Restream every week, whether it was 2 of us, 3 of us, 8 of us, whatever. We kept getting together. Internal Rhyme led discussions on mental health, on anti-Semitism, on what was going on in terms of, current affairs in the Middle East. We really talked about it all. And then shout out to Rabbi Adam, who really, really kept us piped in with Parashah and knowledge about the weekly Torah portions and, all things historically in ancient Judaism. And this song right here that we're about to play next really represents the deep understanding that we gain through Chavruta, through learning with each other as a fellowship. And the song is called New Land. And the song really is kind of about, one topic we talked a lot about, which is from Exodus to emancipation. We talked about the similarities between Jewish culture and hip hop culture. That was really one of the basis of a lot of our discussions. And then we also talked about the story of Noah's Ark and coming, into a new land and what that meant for coming out of quarantine and out of the pandemic back into regular life, what it was like for, travelers to come to America, to the new land that was America, but most importantly, what it was like for the Jewish people to come out of exile in the desert and back into life in the Holy Land. So we really talked a lot about all these things. And this song, New Land, is really just that quintessential piece of the album that kind of brings it all together. Rabbi and Matt, I don't know if y'all want to maybe talk about the importance of the song to y'all, and then maybe also talk about the making of the video really quick, which we're going to play after the jump.
Cool. Sure, I'll jump in with a little thought about Noah's Ark, and this is something I've been kind of hearing and thinking about from Rabbi Joey Rosenfeld. But he says that Noah's Ark represents when the whole world around you is raging and flooded and destroyed and all the chaos of the world around you, that there is an ark that you can go in, and inside that ark you have your little place of peace, of peace of mind, of peace of soul. And that's kind of like the Shabbat in the middle of the week, where the whole week is like everything's chaos, the chaos and the work and the hustle of the week, and Shabbat's the time to rest. And it's the kind of rest and it's the kind of safe haven that doesn't have to fix everything around you, right? You don't have to fix all the problems to be able to take a moment. And even, with all of the hardship of COVID and the way it's changed our lives and our work and all the people around the world who've been sick and many of them, many people who have died. All in all, like, part of the resilience of humanity is that we look at these hardships and we look at the, whatever times we're going through, and we try to take out, positive messages from it. And I think this song is really a nice little jewel of something positive that we were able to take out of COVID together, over Zoom and together.
Yeah, that was nice. And it springs from a teaching by Rabbi Avi Steinberg, who we sample, who teaches at Machon Hadar. And I think it's a Torah piece from Rabbi Avi Killip which compares how Noah and his family came out of the ark to the new land, the post-flood, and how we are changed coming out of our quarantine back to community settings. What's changed, what hasn't. And so that was kind of the writing exercise for each of the rappers on here. And so since Noah was kind of the jump off for this song and for our understanding of coming out of quarantine, you can see it's kind of like a Zoom, and Zoom was like all the rage, basically if we're going to have community, we have to do it virtually. So the idea of this video is if there was a Zoom gathering on Noah's Ark, That's what
animals.
that's what you're witnessing. Basically, a Rappers and Rabbis event on Noah's Ark that's virtual, and all the animals are showing up to listen to Rabbi Avi Steinberg talk about what it's like when we as the animals and humans come out of this ark. And it was and so part of the fellowship is that we listen to these deep stories and deep part of the fellowship is we listen to the Torah, or I'm going to say it one more time just so I can get it. And part of the fellowship is we have special guests come on and great teachers, and their lessons are the jump off 4 verses that the rappers all write 16s or 8s for, and that's what this song is with New Land when we're comparing coming out of Noah's Ark to coming out of quarantine.
Nice.
Yeah, I think one of the stories that I never heard of my entire life, and I guess, when you're a kid, they don't tell you certain things. But one of my favorite stories about Noah that we learned in this study was that when they came to the new land and got off the ark, he planted a vineyard and made some wine and got lit. I mean, how hip hop is that? If you were stuck on a boat for however long, wouldn't you want to get lit and party when you got off? You know what I mean? So shout out to Noah, who was definitely member of the hip hop tribe, as well as an essential member of the Hebrew tribe. So let's kick it off right here with New Land.
You might think that Noah would be dying to get off the ark, right? They've been in quarantine how many months now? 6 months, 8 months, 10 months.
If you're going to find new land, bring a pocket full of sand, for you're quite sure to miss shore. And when you think about it all, our lives are very small. Still I hope I never die.
I hope I never die, but I live on through my artistry. Through all of the debauchery, hypocrisy, and poverty, I pour out for my sons. As my eyes get watery enough to flood the earth, I just tell them build the ark for me, carpentry. These cubits not from arteries, but I built them from the heart, you see. If ever you get lost at sea, just send a dove out for an olive tree and pray that we are all in peace. R.I.P. to quarantine.
If you're going to find new land, bring a pocket full of sand, for you're quite sure to miss shore.
There's a flood coming, it's best we stay afloat. Unite every animal, have them elope. In the age of extinction, we're the last of the Mohicans. Grab your partner, say we will survive, let it sink in. On a voyage, far from a cruise. Put my life on the line with everyone's to lose. It is what it was, time to search for new land as we approach a new normal and devise a new plan.
When you think about it all, our lives are very small. Still I hope I never die. I want to live forever, my every breath is treasured. Gold bars that glow in the dark, I flow hard as Noah's Ark. What I mean is even Phoenix feels free at last when he's ash. Never more and nothing lasts. And the raven at your door also raps, colder than his black shoulder blade, and he's also strapped. Click, clack, flap, flap. If you're going to find new land, bring a pocket full of sand, for you're quite sure to miss shore. When you think about it all, our lives are very small. Still I hope I never die.
He sends the raven out, she doesn't come back. He sends the dove out. The dove comes into him at eventide, and lo, in her mouth, an olive leaf freshly plucked. So Noah knew that the waters were abated from the earth. The fact that the dove was able to find a plant. What do you imagine that feeling is as they're thinking about, as they're about to leave the ark?
Yeah, that's one of those we call it in hip hop, we call it an anthem, but you could feel the spiritual element. Like I kind of have goosebumps right now, and I've heard that song and seen the video 100 times. So I can't imagine how special that is for somebody who's either into hip hop, into Judaism, or just into life and love in general, for going through the pandemic, living and learning how important that song has been for us, and hopefully will be for everyone now that the album is online everywhere. Can I get an amen?
Amen.
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 Amen. You know what I mean?
Hey yo, and that video, like when I first put
L'chaim.
it on Facebook, they were like, "L'chaim, great." They were like, "There's something wrong with it," but we got to get that video out there and change the those last three flyers to what's going on now. But yeah, that's a fun video, and those
Phenomenal.
little 8 bars are really good verses about what we're all going through right now, which is that transition back to like life out of quarantine, out of kind of sort of, and it's just I think people can really relate to this song right now. So I hope to get that out there as kind of the next.
Yeah, we'll take a vote this week, but that's a strong candidate for the single release. You know what I mean? We could definitely push that as a single with the video like ASAP. I think it's a beautiful message for everybody to hear. Shout out to the rabbi for her wisdom and her teachings, which kind of led to us writing the song. So the album has a little bit of something for everybody, and we've now made it through all the songs on the album. But clever enough, the album ends with 2 instrumentals. And I definitely want to talk about these instrumentals really quick. Shout out to everybody in the chat that's been leaving great messages tonight. We've definitely got some people tuned in that have been following us through our entire journey. A lot of Chag Sameachs, a lot of happy Hanukkahs in the chat. It's just a beautiful thing. And I want to talk about the importance again of the Cypher and including everybody. And even though I don't rap, there's definitely been a couple times on Zoom this year where I've jumped in, and spit a couple bars for the gang. You know what I mean? These beats that we've been working on together as a crew have really inspired me. It's been amazing to take my knowledge and experience of beat making and music production and be able to tie Judaism into it. It's been such a beautiful experience for me. And this next song, Zoom Gali Gali, oh man. Shout out to Rabbi. I think Rabbi, you were the first one to send me this song. And when I heard the song, I got to give it up to Matt. Matt, y'all might not know it about Matt, and he just left the room. Oh, there he is. Matt is a huge, super fan of Lil Wayne. Y'all might not guess it from the looks of this guy, but this is literally Wheezy, aka Lil Wayne's #1 fan. Wheezy F baby, please say the baby. So when I heard this version of Zoom Gali Gali that Rabbi sent to me, I immediately knew that I had to flip the beat in the style of Lil Wayne, kind of like a Millie or 6 foot, 7 foot. I was like, yo, I gotta pay homage to our musical director of our crew, Matt. I had to make something that he would love. And when he and a few of y'all heard the beat, the decision was made to put a hook on it, but then to leave the rest of it instrumental as to open up the cipher for everyone in the future that will hear the album. So I don't care whether you're out there and you're a singer, you're a rapper, you're a writer, you're an artist, you're a dancer, whatever it is that you do, that's your thing, your talent, your spiritual gift, whatever it is that you do out there, please look up this song. Go on to TikTok, go on to Instagram, and make a video of yourself displaying your talents to this beat. I don't know if maybe Rabbi, you want to just jump in and give the song more of a proper Judaic introduction and what Zoom Gali Gali is actually all about.
Yeah, Zoom Gali Gali is actually it's a song that comes from the early Zionist kind of movements of kind of Jews moving to Israel in the 1910s and 20s, like before the state of Israel was a state, and it was a workman's song to like work in the fields, and they would sing the song, and it's like we're all working together for like when they were just starting like building the kibbutz, and like they had to rely on each other and work together to make to survive basically. And so that's kind of where it comes from historically. It's not an ancient tradition.
Interesting.
Yeah.
But started with the chant, like a work song.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Right.
And that's really connected to the hip hop tradition. A lot of chants and hip hop vibes and melodies came from the work songs during slavery. And it's just kind of an amazing, another parallel that we've talked about which ties together Judaism and hip hop, and that is really the struggle of emancipation and freeing yourself, mind, body, and spirit. So this is really a song to kind of let it all go. Interesting enough, the title of the song is Z-U-M, Zoom, Gali Gali. But on the album, we titled it Zoom, Z-O-O-M, because we were literally using Zoom to communicate and create together. That's very hip-hop to have that kind of wordplay. So I don't know if Mr. E, Rhyme, Spencer, if y'all want to jump back in, I'm going to play the beat, and I'm going to leave it open for y'all to cipher. If anybody's feeling the spirit, please jump in. Here's Zoom Gali Gali.
Please keep all revelations succinct.
I can take it first. Hey. Okay. Wanted to let the beat switch. I said, had to let the beat switch. Get on my knees quick. Pray up to Hashem. See, it's another day in paradise. I'm fair and nice. Yeah, I ran from the Pharaoh twice. Ran from these days in Egypt. And now I'm running back and getting seasick from running through the Red Sea. You get me? It's Rhyme on the mic, do it deadly. With my brothers, rappers and rabbis. Let me let the hook go. Another
Yeah, hey yo, it's Zoom Gali Gali. Hop up on the beat just like an ollie. Zoom. I come with a big bang and then a boom, but now I do it with creation. Thank God for elation, like we said with the Shekinah. Now we take it Shabbat Shalom. I'm chilling and I'm home on my throne. Chag Sameya. Yeah, we some rappers and rabbis, and we some players. We some vampire slayers. Yeah, the way we sling the demon. Man, I'm just coming in. Yeah, we always scheming for the positivity. Every time I spit electricity. Man, I do it with the wine, how I dine like the number 9, bring it back. 1-0 with the 10. I go ahem, I spit phlegm. Yeah, hey yo, we do it 1910s and 20s. It's a work song. Do it with the slavery. Do it every time I spit. It's bravery.
We don't cause trouble. We don't bother nobody. We just want to hear you up on the mic. Cause when you rock up on the mic,
right.
Let me talk about it today. Album released, hooray. I go ahead and spit it. Rappers and rabbis, come on, let's get it. Forget it. I'm speaking about our album, and now I will be out of talcum powder. I'm not being louder than the person who went to powder.
Ma osur Yeshuati, Chana el Shabea. Tikon beit filati, Misham toda nizabea. Vayetachim natbea. Nitzar hamnabea. As egmo bishir izmo. Chanu kat hamizbea.
Zoom Gali Gali. We don't cause trouble. We don't bother nobody. We just want to hear you up on the mic. Cause when you rock up on the mic,
I wrote a little something.
Hey.
Rappers and rabbis, music and spirit. Sing from the highest mountain so the world can hear it. Fly through your heart, pump love to the people. This is the inspiration, the music is steeple. Oh my God.
Yeah. I'll tell you, my goal in life is to get Lil Wayne on that remix, man. We gotta get Wheezy on that. So make sure to go to TikTok, go to Instagram, tag Lil Wayne, and rap your hearts out and show everybody, man, what y'all gonna bring to the game. If you dance, if you do art, please use that song to promote yourself. It's really fun. It's upbeat. It's a work song, so show off your work. It's really incredible. And
real quick, I gotta say that was ridiculously fun to rap on.
Right.
I was I just instantly became ecstatic.
Can I just say that like one of the great advantages of having children, one's 517 is that, when Crates, one of the great benefits of being part of this fellowship, if you are a serious artist in music, is that Crate sends you like 80 beats a month of every style. You know what I mean?
This is so true. I'm blown away.
Really something that is one of the great privileges of being part of this. It's really just like it's currency for my soul. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it
Soul
really,
coins.
what he's giving to me is very hard to put in monetary terms, because it's just like I can actually do what I love to do in all that, in a really special way. So anyway, he sends like, a file of beats. I put them up on my phone, and then I have my kids in the back when I'm driving. And, I'll play through 9, 10, 11 beats, and then one will hit, and they'll both at the same time, like at the drop or right at the beginning, be like, oh, it'll just hit them.
Yeah.
And at the same, and you're just like, and then I'm like, that's one that I need to incorporate into that one. Even if I don't like it or it doesn't do anything for me, like obviously it has something that like touches, the essence. And so that was one of those tracks. So then I was like, oh, we got to have this on the album. And there's a couple other ones like that we haven't used that, we haven't written to for volume 2, but I know that when I put them on, like immediately my kids are just like, like it's 1 out of 10, 1 out of 11, but it's like, wow, you really know if one hits, at least for these young, right away. It's pretty cool. Yeah.
Yeah, that's definitely a beat that it's really the essence of hip hop. A lot of the beats on the album are original production. And that one is really a sample, chop, and flip. That's really, even though it's got the down south drums, it's really a sample, it's a chop, it's classic hip hop. And then one thing that we do in this fellowship is called Rabbi Reactions, where, a group of us will get together on Zoom or Restream. We'll throw on a classic hip hop song. And I'm just wondering, Matt, if going back into the crates, no pun intended, going back into listening to some of these old classic hip hop songs, is that what inspired you to make the hook? Where did you get the idea to use that slick Rick melody and that old school hip hop on the hook? Where did that come from?
I think actually we might have been freestyling over it, Ali and I. And then someone started, or maybe, I think it was Mr. E was like, Ali, Ali, Zoom, Ali. And so we started saying that. Then that made us remember Lottie Dottie. We likes the potty. And so we just went with that. And I think it's a good way to kind of, there's an homage both to Judaism, but also to hip hop as a spiritual force, a spiritual culture that can really give meaning and to your existence, like Judaism. That's why I think it's appropriate to compare them because they're just forces of culture that like nothing spread like hip hop as far as a culture in the history of humanity. Within 40 years it covers the globe. There's nothing, and then nothing's really lasted like Judaism. And so I want to make sure in doing this, it's an homage to hip hop as well as Judaism. And so part of that is, the first track, an MC and teacher named Purple speaks about what the Cypher is. And that's what we want to bring to the Jewish service. And then at the last track is kind of like, okay, now you participate, people in the audience, people in the congregation, and by any means, but join this Cypher. And that's what that song, the lyrics are basically like, we just want to hear you on the mic. And because there's nothing, no matter how well I rap at a show, when there's people in the audience or part of the community come up and rap and put themselves out there, that's going to get the biggest, applause. And so we want to, endorse that and advocate for just the last track. And people are like, all right, now you've heard what we do. Now you join the Cypher.
Yeah, I firmly believe that hip hop and rap music is the greatest form of modern literature that we have. and just how the Torah is studied so many years later after it was written. I believe hundreds, thousands of years from now, people will still be studying hip hop and rap music as it was created in this era. And we're so blessed to be living through it. I mean, these 30, 40 years of hip hop in the world has really been quite a time to be alive. There's no doubt about it. And that brings us to the end of the album, to the outro, the Eliyahu outro. Funny enough, Eliyahu Hanavi has always been one of my favorite spiritual melodies in any service. And when I made this beat, I was thinking along the lines of like world music, inclusion, and that hip hop is that of a worldwide art form and understanding. And I didn't even know until we went to sequencing, the final sequencing of the album. I had no idea that y'all had intended to put this beat on there. So please enlighten me, Rabbi and Matt. What was the purpose and intention in putting this not just on the album, but as the last song to close it out?
Wow. So Eliyahu Hanavi, who is Elijah the prophet, he's two characters in one. He has his biblical character, which is someone who is fiery and passionate and devoted, and then he has his rabbinic character, kind of an alter ego, almost as it were, who is this kind of kind. This is Elijah, like after he has left this world, he becomes this like mystical being, spirit, who appears as beggars and like tests people, of like, do you show hospitality? And if you do, like, he gives you a blessing, and Elijah the prophet is also the one who like pops over to every male brit milah, circumcision of the babies, and like, makes sure that the tradition is being continued. And Elijah the prophet is also the one who is going to announce the coming of the Messiah, of Mashiach, who's gonna say, all right, everyone, it's so he's traditionally sung about after Havdallah, of going into the week and seeing all that there is in front of us and all the hardships, arouses this feeling of, I wish everything would just be better. And Elijah is the one who comes with the message of everything is going to be better. So that's the way it's finished up, and that's kind of the prayer intention of having that as at the end of the album. That's amazing.
That's deep. It's kind of like this last song is like the cup that we're leaving out for the listeners.
It's Elijah's cup.
Yeah, Elijah's cup.
Yeah.
That's amazing. All right, so I don't know if the gang wants to jump back on, Spence, Mr. E, Internal Ron, if y'all are still there. But this is also an instrumental. So as the spirit of Elijah may move y'all, please jump in and bust some raps. This is the Eliyahu outro, the last song on our debut album. Online, everywhere, now.
Eliyahu, 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 Eliyahu.
Also gives people an opportunity to join the Cypher by singing with it,
Eliyahu, Eliyahu.
Eliyahu, drinking up sweeter than a Yahoo. You know how I do. You know how I poop in the air, call it magic. Coming down tragic, in a world full of tragedies. But I'm still after these. Higher purposes, higher verses with my brethren. Yeah, we just evident. Eliyahu, Eliyahu. And you know how I do, hey, Eliyahu, hey.
Eliyahu, hey, Eliyahu, hey, Eliyahu. Eliyahu, how do you do? Think back to the days of Yahoo. Then Gmail came and took over. The days of Red Rover, we would hold our partners and try to run through. Now it's back to Eliyahu, sip it up with a yoo-hoo. Chilling with the crew though, we out here on Pluto. I slam you in judo, now I'm coming so peaceful. Gotta seek peace, rocking a nice fleece. Leave the door open for Elijah, chilling by the geyser. Sipping on that Budweiser. No, I'm joking, I prefer the bud because I feel it makes me wiser. Nah, yeah, I prefer the wine. I like to dine. We feeling fine. This is the type of night we recline. This is the ending. We say the prayer. We love and we care. Eliyahu. Eliyahu. Hey, hey, Eliyahu.
Here we come. Who eyes black? That's the price of having my back. Here we come. Who eyes black? That's the price of having my back. Yeah. Anavi, Eliyahu. Eliyahu, Eliyahu. Eliyahu, Agidati. Eliyahu. Anavi, Eliyahu. Atishbi. Eliyahu, Eliyahu. Eliyahu, Agiladi. Here we
I'm just gonna say, Amen.
Oh, that's a mic drop. Amen.
You know, I think it's no hidden fact that a lot of musicians, composers, and producers, just as myself, feel that we're like a vessel for the message, and that's one of those we always talk about the term blacking out. That when you're rapping really good or you're making music, it's like you're not even present there. It's like the spirit moving through you, and that's one of those beats. I can't even believe I made that, John. You know what I mean? Like, that's a really, really incredible piece of music. I'm so glad that y'all chose that. I'm honored that y'all chose that to be the last song on the album, and with such a deep message of spiritual belief in oneness and in peace and in love. I really hope that everyone that's tuned in tonight, who will tune in on their own time on our YouTube and our Twitch, and for everyone that's tuning into the album, I hope y'all feel a little bit of, even if it's just a little piece of peace and love and understanding. I really hope this album brings that to y'all. Again, we are Rappers and Rabbis. You can follow us at rappersandrabbis.com, facebook.com/rappers and rabbis, Instagram /rappers and rabbis. We're on TikTok now. We're on everything. Like, you can't avoid us now. Like, we're out here. You know what I mean? Our debut album is online. It's been such a blessing to be on this journey with y'all. Tonight is like a celebration. So when we sign off, make sure everybody celebrates responsibly in their own way. If you're tuned in, go celebrate. You know what I mean? Like life, you know, we all go through ups and downs, but you got to remember that the ups, you know what I mean, is always going to be there for you. This album hopefully will be, you know, a part of y'all's lives the way it's a part of ours. It's our Hanukkah gift to the world to share this album. It's really been an honor. I want to individually thank everybody. Tex Rich Ali, Rabbi Adam, Mayor, Matt Barr, Spencer Fro, Mr. E, Internal Rhyme. Big shouts out to
Mr. Grace.
Yo, thank you. Thank you. Like I said, I'm not even here. It's like a spirit moving through me. I'm just the vessel for the message. But yeah, also shout out to all the members of our fellowship who weren't with us tonight, but definitely are with us in spirit. Super big shout out to Jewish Federation of Greater Metro West New Jersey. Big shout out to Moishe House. Shout out to our families and our friends, everyone that, you know, has positively supported what we've been doing. For me, it might be that one text I get on Wednesday morning, like, yo, I just saw your live stream from Saturday and it was great. You know, it could be just that one message every week that has really uplifted me personally throughout this journey of what we've been doing. Mr. E is a big, big part of setting up our upcoming retreat, January 7th, 8th, and 9th in the Poconos of Pennsylvania. If you want to learn more about that retreat and about our fellowship, go to rappersandrabbis.com or hit any of us up personally. Hit us up on our Instagram account, Rappers and Rabbis. Send us a message on our Facebook. Hit me up, Digital Crates. Hit up Mr. E. Hit up Internal Rhyme. We're all here to interact and learn and grow and engage with our audience. It's all about inclusion. That's what hip hop is all about. bringing everybody into that circle. And thank you, Hashem, for blessing us with the WOMP. What else can I say?
Woo! Did you bring that back full circle? Well done,
Hey,
Greg.
that's what it's all about. All right, so I'm gonna go celebrate with my boo and my dog. We're gonna go have a little drink, man, and we're gonna turn on the album. We're gonna dance the night away. Thank y'all again, man. This has been such an amazing journey, and may Hashem gift us with the WOMP for making Volume 2, which will probably be coming out next year. So that's it, man.
We'll
All
get
right,
we'll get
well.
started in January on the retreat.
There we go.
All right, cheers, y'all.
Oh yeah.
Oh, thank you.
All right, peace and love.
Chag Sameach.